Sparkle Shines. My name is Hold on. Goodness. My name is Michelle, and today we are making these cute little adorables. Oh my gosh. Okay. You can make it a stuffed thing like this, like I did. You can make it just I discovered you can make it into a finger puppet. You can make it just a flat thing that you applique on something, or like for an ornament, like if I wanted to hang string here, I could make an ornament, and so it's really fun. I didn't tell you I used worsted weight yarn, just like your the black yarn I know is Mainstays. I'm not sure what the white is. It's probably Red Heart, Super Saver. You could pretty much use any yarn. Just know that your yarn and hook size will change the outcome and how it looks. So let's get over the creation station. We're trying this. I've got a purple one on today, hoping that it works. It's a lighter purple. And if I get the coloring right and the setup right, then I actually may press it so it's not wrinkled for you guys. Yeah. So what we need today, let's talk about this. Scissors! Oh my gosh, guys, I remembered to tell you we needed scissors. You're going to need a yarn darning needle. It doesn't matter what kind. It could be plastic. It could be this kind that's got the little loops in the top. It could be a metal one. Will you stay somewhere? Nope. Haha. I've got a hook. Today I'm using an H hook. The only thing that you might want to consider is that it's a little bit smaller, so I might decide as I'm making these in the future to go down to a G. You don't want to use like an I or a J with a worsted weight yarn. A G or an H would probably make more sense, just to keep it kind of tighter. It's kind of like making those amaguri, you know, those little stuffed animal thingies that people make. You need white yarn. I honestly have no clue how much. Part of it also depends. You can have choices here. You can make it as an applique, or you can make it as a little stuffed thing. So you will need some yarn for that. I don't imagine that you would need much more than like a yard, if that. Maybe a yard of black would do it. It's for eyes and the nose, or not nose, the mouth, you know. So it's a little bit of black, like really, seriously, don't need much. And then if you want it, where did it go? Oh, it disappeared. It didn't want to be a part of this. Some like polyfill. Just a little stuffing. This isn't necessary. This is an option for depending on which method you want to do. I want to use it. Oh, I just found the original. Poof. Okay. It's a little bit of polyfill in case you want it. You don't have to. I would suggest leaving maybe 8 inches of a tail. It just makes it a little easier for tugging some things at the end, which will be helpful. You're going to make your knot, and we're going to chain 13. Now, up in the iCards, instead of listing out every single, like there's a chain stitch tutorial, there's a single crochet tutorial, I'm just going to link the playlist so that you can check out and find any of the tutorials I've made. And we're pretty much working with chain stitch and single crochet, and both of those will be in the playlist. So like I said, 13. Okay. We're going to single crochet in the 5th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're just going to go under that top loop. We're not even going to go under anything else, just one loop. Okay, we're just going to single crochet there, and then 7 more, so a total of 8. 2, and we're just going under the top loop of every single one of these. Okay, and after you've done 8, you should have one more chain here. We're going to do 1 single crochet in under the loop, and then I like to switch here and go under the next one. We want to work over our yarn, and we're going to go under that one. So it's in the same stitch, but now we're working on the other side of the stitch. Let me undo that and show you a little bit better. Okay, so one goes under here. And then we've got our knot that might loosen up on you. You can just tighten it up. We're going to do 2 more stitches in here, but I want to do it on the other side. So I'm going to see how I have, here's where my stitch is. I have the knot there, and then I also have another loop. I want to go to the other side and go under that loop that's on the other side. And I'm going to do 2 stitches there. And then as you snug this up, it will help. But we're going to work across over our yarn. And we're going to go under each one of these loops. So you could go in here, or you could go under the loop. I'm going to go under the loop. And at the end, I'm going to show you why I don't go in over under here. So I'm going to go in the next one here. And again, I'm going under, and it's this loop that kind of comes up from over here and goes over. And not counting, I'm going to go back because I want to be able to count. I've got 1, 2, 3 stitches in my end there, 1 stitch under the loop for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Now if I tug on my yarn, it kind of pulls in this so that it's tighter, and you will see that there's a little bit of kind of holes right there. When you kind of tug it, it kind of closes in. Let me show you what happens if you don't do it, if you do it in the other part of the stitch like I was talking. It leaves holes that, like, you can kind of tug on it, but like the holes are just very much more obvious there. And that's why I prefer to go under the loops I do, because otherwise I end up with these big old holes. Now this was done in a larger, with a larger hook, but still the way the holes are, where this kind of has some X's that cross over, and it just helps hold it a little closer together in general. Okay, now we're going to come back in, and we are going to we're going to chain 4. Okay, I'm going to turn my work, and in my single crochet, so I skipped my changes, and my single crochet, I skipped my chains, and then in my single crochet, which is right here, it kind of has a hole thing. Over here it looks all tight and there's not really a hole. When I come over here, there's a hole. I'm going to do a single crochet, and that leaves this little loop thing at the bottom. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we're going to do two single crochets in the same spot. 1, 2. We're going to do 2 more in the same spot. 1, 2, and in the next one we're going to do 2. 1, 2. So we just did 3 sets of 2. Now we're going to single crochet 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to chain 4. We're going to turn our work and we're going to single crochet again. If we come to this side, it's got the chain there. We want to go in here and do our first single crochet. Chain 8, or crochet 8. We're going to single crochet 8. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I'm gonna do 2 single crochets in 1, 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the next one, 2 single crochets in the next one, 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the next one, 2 single crochets in the next one, 1 single crochet in the next one. So that was 3 sets where it was 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now we are going to single crochet 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to crochet or chain 4. Turn our work. Again, we're coming back to crochet, single crochet in that first one. Making sure we're not going on the chain side, we're going in the single crochet side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're ready to go around our head. This time we're going to do a single crochet and a single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next one. Okay. This way we're shifting where we're doing our increase and it helps keep it looking rounder. We're going to do 1, 2, and then 2 in the next one. And last time, go under 1, go into 2, and 2 into the next one. Okay, so now we've done our little round bit around our head. We're going to go 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then you're into the first chain of your chain thing there. You're going to go in and you're going to slip stitch it in there, and then you're going to use your scissors, cut it off. If you are just doing an applique, you have to make a choice. Do you need to be able to, are you appliquing it onto something? Are you making it into like an ornament with a string up here? If you need to applique it on something and you need the yarn to applique it, then you want to leave a large enough to go around the whole thing. If you're not, you can do a small, I'm going to make 2 of these. One of these I'm going to have a fairly short tail on. The other one I'm going to make sure I have a long tail. Okay. And I'm going to just pull that all the way. Actually, you know, I'm not even going to make another chain. I'm just going to pull it through here, which makes this really loose. So I'm going to hurry right away. And secure that down in there. So I'm just going to come forward in front of, here's where it comes out. I'm just going to pull it down and go forward in front of there. And then that blends it down into that little poof thingy down there. And then I can go back up in here underneath the legs. Of my single crochets and tie that off. Depending on how secure you want it, you can tie that off, go back another direction, make sure you grab something here, go back a little ways the other way, and I'm going to trim that. Okay, so now my first end is cut off. I like to use this as stuffing for something, and my gnomes, I'm not going to use it for stuffing in this because it's white. I don't want to see it through. Okay, so this I can, like, again, if I tug on this, it kind of tightens up things a little bit. So I want to do that, but then before it loosens or tightens anymore, I want to send it back up through just to say this is how long it's going to be. And you can, I'm going to go up on this side just because I can. And it doesn't need to go up very high, just to help secure it so it doesn't come undone. Okay, so there is a little ghosty. My daughter says it looks a little bit like Pac-Man. If this is it, you can, attach a string here. You can sew it onto something. All right, I need about, I'm going to say about a yard of black. I'm going to thread it onto my thing. If you are doing it as a stuffy, then what you do on the back doesn't matter too much. Decide which one you want to be at the back. I want this to be my back. I'm going to pick a place to come up and put my eye. Where do I want my eye to be? And I'm going to pull some of this. This is if you want this to be on the inside. We'll tie a knot at the end, and it will be inside the stuffy. If you want it to, if you don't want to make it into a stuffy, just be very careful when you are threading your yarn up through to where you want your eye to be. And remember, if you can see on either side your metal, how it's kind of showing through there, it will also show through. So it's a little bit through there, but you can't see it on this side. So you just got to be careful where you're sending it through, because it will show through. To some degree, that's okay. Just know that wherever you can see your needle through there is where you're also going to see. And see, I have it shining through a pretty big spot there. I don't want that. So I'm going to come back and do it a little different so that I don't want to see it on this side at all. On this side, people can be a little forgiving of things like that when it's the back side of an ornament or things like that. So I'm going to pull it up through, pick where I want my eye to go, and start my eye. Okay, but I'm not going to worry about tucking it in. You'll also want to tuck it in when you move different places, just to make sure when you turn it over, you're not really seeing all your strings in the back. Okay, so I think this is a great place for my eye. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail. Rethread my thread because I pulled a little bit too hard. And about how high I want my eye to be is where I'll stick it in. Okay, I think that should make a good place. And I'm just going to keep coming back and forth pretty much in the same places and build it up, and it should start kind of fluff it going around itself. I can kind of switch sides a little bit if I need to, but for the most part I'm going up and down in the very same spot till I decide that it's wide enough. Okay, I kind of like that. So then like I said, if you're working where you're going to be able to see both sides, make sure you go under things over. But I'm just going to come over and pick where I want the bottom of my other eye to be. Three. I don't want to catch that string. I also don't want to pull it too hard, because if I pull it too hard it starts pulling it like that. And I don't want it to pull it like that. I want it to stay flat. So that's something I'm going to watch for. It's with these first couple stitches. I'm going to decide where I want my height to be. And I'm trying to catch actual yarn instead of going into a hole. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. Like I said, making sure I'm not catching that in there. I think I want one more on this side. I'm going to kind of come over to this side of it. Okay, now I got a couple of eyes, and I'm going to come down to where I want my mouth. Now, it is a little bit of a challenge because we've got all of the holes right here. So I want to make sure that I'm going in through, like you can even split your yarn for this. At least to start with. I might cover that back up. Okay, I'm gonna hold this out of the way. And because it's my mouth, I want it to be a little longer, so I'm going to kind of come down into here. And I'm basically going to do the same thing. It's just going to be a little bit longer. In fact, I might just go up and down in those holes that I may naturally with the crocheting. And if it's not seeming to round out like I want, I can I'm going to kind of straighten like this. Now, one thing I don't like how it created a hole up here. So, my bottom one seems not to be too bad. So what I'm going to do, as I'm working my way back up to here, I'm going to kind of come through and I'm going to grab just the tiniest bit on each side of that hole. Well, actually, I'm going to grab that black yarn too. I'm going to grab the black yarn so that it's got a little bit more to hold on. And I'm going to go across. And it's going to, when I tug that a little bit, it will kind of pull that in just a little bit. Like I said, stretch it out a little bit. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to cut this and tie it. And I want to make sure I don't pull too tightly. I don't want to scrunch anything out of place. Just do a couple of ties and then that will get tucked in behind it. And there's my little ghostie. And if you don't like the shape of the mouth or whatever, you can play with it and find different shapes to see what you like. I'm going to make another one, but if you were doing this flat and you didn't want this, you would have put in all of these lines and you would tuck in your closed end. And you would just make your ties or sew it onto something and you would be fine. So I'll be back when I've made a second one, and my second one will not have a face. I've done my little slip stitch down into there, and I want to talk about a few things before I keep going. One is, you know how we counted 8 and then did increases. So I mentioned that that I moved where my increases were. If I wanted to make this like fatter or bigger, or say I decided to chain more at the beginning, So it just in general I wanted to make it bigger, or I wanted it taller, wider, whatever. If I wanted to make more rounds, I would go back to, I would do my, like I would turn this over, I would do my 8 single crochets, and then because the last one I did single, single, double, which means I did a single crochet, and then I did my increase with 2 crochets together. I would come back, and when I finished my 8, I would do 2 single crochets in one, and then I would do 3 stitches, because that's where I would be at, because I want to move the side that I put my increase on for the number of stitches. You just keep adding 1 single crochet in between each time, and the reason you move them is because if you don't, then it's wouldn't necessarily be noticeable this size, but the bigger you get, it starts looking more like a hexagon than rounding. When you move where you put your increase, it helps keep it looking round as you go around. You could keep adding as many as you want, and you just add another single crochet in between your 3 decrease or 3 increases. Okay, so that's what I would do, and I just move my increase to the beginning and then to the end and then to the beginning, and I keep moving them back and forth. So in case you wanted to make this bigger, that's what you would do. For this, technically, what I could do, my 2 little ghosties here, and I would put them back to back. I could, if I wanted to, I would chain 1 here and I'd switch them. This is one method of joining. It's not necessarily the method I want, but I wanted to give you options because I like doing that. So I'd go in under the single crochet on this side, into the single crochet on this side, and I would do a single crochet in each one around. Into the single crochet on this side, into the single crochet on this side, and it will make it a little wider. Once I get it going, I can usually just go straight through. And we'll find out how well I did with my counting, because right now my one's looking pretty small, but I think it's because I've tugged it short and I didn't tug the back one as much. But we'll find out when I go all the way around. So I wanted to show you guys what it looks like all the way around. Well, I think it worked all the way around. So I made him a little bit wider. Looks a little bit more like the ghost. My daughter says he look a little bit like the whatchamacallit ghosts. Oh, look, you can make finger puppets. There's an idea. You could end that off and make finger puppet, and that would be really cute for a little kid. What I would do here is take just a tiny bit of stuffing, stuff it in there. I want to make sure my little black strings go to the front so they don't poke out through the back. Okay, just put some stuffing in there, and then I'm going to actually close them off. And what I would do now, if I were to do it this way, which is cute, I like this, but I wanted to do a different kind of. I would just sew, leaving the little, almost looks like octopus, short octopus legs, but I would just then sew across there and try to keep my stitches to the inside, like I will show you later, because the sewing off across the bottom should be about the same, and that's what that would look like. That's just a cute little stuffy. Okay, I like it with the extra round, but that's not what I wanted to do. if you were making a finger puppet, which, like, seriously cute idea, you would want to tuck these in. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take some yarn. Hopefully this is enough to go all the way around, and I'm going to pull it all the way through. And just like before, I'm going to go back down this way through this before I start. Oh, I should have done this one first. Hold on. I'm going to tie this one back up in because that will be easier than when it's all tied together. Okay, and like I said, I like to go on this side. So it's coming out on this side, and I like to go up on the other side of the stitches. Just a little ways. I could leave it since I'll be stuffing it, but I'm going to cut it off so it's not in my way. I also could cut these off a little bit shorter if I wanted to. In fact, I probably will. I think it will be easier to stuff, and I'll have less problems with it trying to go on the other side. Now, which side do I want to be the outside? I want this side to be. Part of why I like this side is because of the way it looks in the middle. I just kind of prefer this one on this side. Okay. And I'm going to put these together. And I'm just going to sew around it, and I'm just going to do like a whip stitch. Figure out where I want to go through my single crochets. I'm just go through the top of them. And I'm just going to do a whip stitch all the way around. Okay, once again, I could ended up have a little finger puppet. That would be really fun for a little kid. So that could be a fun way. I'm going to take my thread and go towards, just send it to the inside here. Okay. And then I'm going to put my stuffing back inside. And so it just has a different look around it with the whip stitch around the edge. And so you can just decide which look you want. And then I'm going to take and I'm just kind of go pick up a thread on one side down towards the edge underneath where these chains come out. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to kind of have a bit on this side that we're grabbing down there, across from a bit on this side. I'm doing right through there. I just did like two within the same chain bit here. So I do want to kind of keep 2 or 3 across the chain bit there, just to kind of keep them even so that I'm not pulling too tight, have a little bit of space between them. Two or three for each little ghost fluffy there. I don't even know what to call that. And when you think about it, if it was a real ghost, it would be shaped like a human. It'd just be a person without a body. So is this like the ghost to a squid or something? Oh, that's funny. I'm funny. Okay, I'm going to tuck my fluff in just a little bit right there. Go across here. Looks like I'm averaging 2 loops across for each fluffy thingy. Okay. Now, I do want to kind of make a little knot here, so I'm going to pull it What the heck? That's not where I want my knot. Sorry about that. I gotta make sure that this tail doesn't go longer than that one before I try to do my little knot. And then it kind of pulled tight, and you don't want it to pull too tight across the bottom or it pulls a little length thingy. So I'm gonna make sure I actually have a knot here, because I don't know what happened there. So I'm gonna pull through, and then while I have a loop, I'm gonna pull through again so that I make a knot in there. And then I'm just gonna go down in, and I'm gonna go way up towards the top here. Just kind of squish it through. Now we don't want to pull it too tight unless we want our ghost to look like that, which that's a look. But we do want to tug just a tiny bit, so we can cut it close and then tug it back down in. And ta-da! There is our little ghosty. He's got these little things here. Looks like that across the bottom. You can kind of squish him this way if we want him to be. If you wanted more squishing in that, then you could stuff him a little fatter. I think he's adorable. Okay, I am going to switch views and talk to you about a cute idea that we have that you could do with these. The idea that I had for this, or actually my son's had for this. I will mention this at Christmas time. At Christmas time, I pull out a gingerbread man that I made last year, and it's a really fun idea. Elf on the Shelf is not something our family likes. There's just something about it we don't like. But what I did is I made a gingerbread man, and it's based off of the idea of run as fast as you can. You can't find me. I'm the gingerbread man. And we said you can't find me because even though the story is you can't catch me, we hide him. And whoever hides him gets to hide him. Whoever finds him gets to hide him. And my sons, when they saw this, they're like, is that like the gingerbread man for Halloween? So you could totally do this for Halloween. You could totally play a hide and seek game where somebody hides it, and then people look for it, and whoever finds it hides it, and you just keep rotating. And my kids really enjoyed it. And my kids, you know, this year the youngest is 13 and the oldest at home is 19. 5 teenagers, 4 of them enjoy it. The other one, he doesn't enjoy much. But that's a really fun idea that you guys could do as well with any of the little creatures that hopefully I'm going to make some more. But this is my first one. I made a ghosty. I'm really excited about it. So that's an idea you could do. You could play a hide and seek game with it, and where it just gets hidden. Now, if you have really young kids and you want to hide it, and then when somebody finds it, then you get to hide it again, or you're like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome, and then you hide it the next morning or whatever. If they're really little, that's fun. When they're a little bit older, it's really fun for them to hide it again themselves. So that's one thing. I haven't decided. I might give this away, or I might make more. I might not. Depends on what I have so many things on my make list right now, so I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to share him with you. I think it's really fun. I'm hoping you are having a happy October, or happy October, or the month of Halloween. and I will see you guys next time. Oh, remember to let your light shine through your creations. Bye!